Hi, everybody. My name is Kenita Miller, and I was playing the role of Hannah in Come From Away.
And my name is Caesar Samayoa, and I was playing Kevin J. and Ali in Come From Away.
And we want to thank TDF for having us today. We're going to chat a little bit about the show, catch up with each other selfishly, and also just talk about like how we've been coping with kind of getting through this time, this shutdown period, but and also about like the hopes of when we do return, because that is going to happen. I'm definitely keeping hope alive. So yeah.
Let's do it. Yes?
Yeah, I guess we can start with some questions.
All right. I'll start.
Okay.
So, did you know each other before Come From Away?
Well, we did not know each other formally. I will say, I think we have a lot of like mutual friends and colleagues, but I will say, Caesar was not very difficult. I felt like he was immediately familiar. I'm not just saying that because you're sitting right there, Caesar. I love you. No, so it was very, very easy. Kind of feels like a cousin, So yeah, it was very, very quick. He started making fun of me very, very quickly.
Like day one. Yeah, I didn't know Kenita, but I have to just let the world know that I saw her do Celie in Color Purple, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do after I saw that glorious performance, Kenita.
Thank you, Caesar. Thank you.
Goosebumps thinking about it right now.
Oh, when I think about it, like I just had immediate terror. Like that whole period was terror.
I can't imagine taking on that role. And then I got to see you in Once on This Island.
Aww.
And one of my favorite musicals, and Mama Yurley just portrayed by just an incredible actress. Aww. So thank you for giving me two of my like most favorite experiences.
Oh, well, thank you for the love, Caesar. We're trying to the hustle is real in these streets. So.
Love it. Let's do the next question, yeah?
Okay, the next question is, what is it like playing multiple characters and having to switch so quickly? Ooh. Oh yeah, this is a good one for you.
I love this question. Actually what the audience gets to see, that kind of multiple character switching stuff, is just the actor's dream part of this whole amazing experience that is Come From Away. I love kind of doing that like magic where you're changing from one character into another just by putting a hat on or putting the jackets on or whatever we have to do to change characters. I think the real hard part of this show, for me at least, was the staging of this show. I mean, it is nonstop. It is choreographed within, an inch of everything happening. I wish people could have a camera into our first couple of weeks of rehearsal to see what it was like for us to try to remember where to put what chair at what time.
Yeah, no, I remember because I came in as a replacement for Hannah. I was replacing Q, and I just remember I actually, to be quite honest, I hadn't seen the show before going in and auditioning. So when I went and actually got to see you all, I kind of was like, wait a minute now, because all of those chair moves, and not and on top of that, switching into these different characters, I was in complete awe because you all made it look effortless. I mean, the pace of the show is so beautiful, and that it's pretty much seamless, But I remember watching y'all and going, okay, yeah, you're gonna see terror on my face. You're gonna see terror. And y'all were so sweet, so supportive, and you were definitely like, no, this is what it is. Just jump.
This is what it is. You just jump. You hear that drum, that downbeat, and you just go.
You better go. Just go. Don't think. Just go. And I guess, and to add to that, like with the character switching, I mean, I feel like your character's a little bit more of that than mine. But I do feel like I completely agree. It is like the actor's dream to have that type of challenge and to because it's expansive for you as an artist to be able to use your mind space to flip like that, So I definitely love the challenge, but Yeah, that show is deceiving. Is
Yeah.
they make it look easy. That thing is a mind. It's a mind game.
I love it.
Yeah.
Let's try the next question.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right. You both play characters from a variety of cultures. Did that spark any discoveries?
I think, to be personally, to be completely honest, playing an African American or even anybody of African descent, because there is like this little snippet. I don't even have like the words except for that one time where I had to go for the line, but don't have words. But that's a part of my being. It's part of my culture, so it's easy to tap into. I think that one thing that stood out to me was playing Hannah, and that real person is a white woman. She's an older white woman, and I mean, I'm 95 in my heart, like,
You are definitely an old, amazing singer.
I am a grandma, like, and I love it. I love it, but I think surrendering to not. I mean, Q had already, kind of laid the grounds in that aspect. So it didn't feel crazy to just kind of let go and look at the humanity of this character.
Mhm.
And it's more exciting that you are playing something that is not so like typecast in a way. It's more about humanity, So I loved, and I feel like very honored to get a stab at that.
Oh, I love that you said that. When I was doing, when we were creating the show, I really had the honor of, Ali is an Egyptian man, and he's a Muslim. And I had the honor of working with Egyptian language specialists while I was in Washington, D.C. And I, I owe my performance and the authenticity of who I am portraying because of these men and women that came to help me. It is an incredible culture. It's an unbelievable language. And I think it just shows how much our writers and our creative team really wanted to make this as authentic as possible, to have people that come in and really teach us about the cultures that we are portraying. So I mean, my mind was open to a culture that I did not know. And I'm so thankful for it.
Just a little side note. I think like to add to what you were saying, and it's a beautiful gift, because when it does, to be an artist, because it can be so expansive, like certain directions you have to go because of a certain role you might not necessarily on your own. And we have like this beautiful outlet that research is a part of what we do, and it's very filling, it's very like expansive is the only word I can think of, So I love that. I love that.
I do too.
Okay. Is this my turn?
I think
Okay, let's see.
Oh, yes. Let's do it.
Have you met any of the real life people you're playing? And if so, what was that like?
We've met pretty much everybody that we're playing, right? Like, I think we've all had that opportunity. I love this story because Kevin Young, who I portray in the show, had no idea this was occurring. When we first started developing the show in La Jolla, California, we had a full run of this show, and I was back in New York after closing the La Jolla production, and it was the middle of the night, and I was checking my email, and I opened up my inbox, and there's an email that says, "My name is Kevin, and I think you play me in a musical." And I opened it up, and it was this massive kind of email with his stories in Gander. And up until that point, this character wasn't really fleshed out in the show. And I'll never forget him coming to Seattle, our second stop in development. And I got to tell him about the show, and he's telling me all these stories that he experienced in Gander, and he had no idea that he was about to watch that on stage that night.
Oh gosh.
And he's just one example, of
Well,
this.
I have a side note question. I hope that's okay.
The TDF gods. Okay.
That's okay. But I wanted to know, like, what was the first time that you had to play him in front of him? Like, was that intimidate? Like,
I was really nervous, and I'm still nervous. Anytime I find out that any of our people are in the audience.
Mhm.
But I'll never forget Captain Beverly Bass happened to be watching the show that night. And in Seattle, the house was much smaller. We could see everybody, and the lights go to black at the end of the show, and they pop up, and I see Kevin, I mean, purple from crying.
Aw.
And Captain Bass is holding him up because he just could not understand what he just experienced, and the stories that he was telling me about that he thought nobody knew, at dinner before the show. They were all there. They were
Right
all there
there.
for him to see. So yeah, I still get nervous, but man, am I so proud of people's reactions about what we've done with their
Mhm.
stories, the honor that we've given their
Yeah.
stories. What
It's
was it
like
like for you?
the same way. I'm so happy that since I didn't start with you all, I wasn't sure whether I was going to get to meet Hannah, and fortunately, I did, and they did tell me, ahead of time, which I usually don't like to know because I get, very sensitive. I get like it doesn't take anything for me to get in my head. So, and like the same with you, it's like this is this person's life,
Mm,
and you want to feel like you are not just doing them justice, but honoring their humanity, like honoring their spirit, or their essence, whatever you can tap into of them. So, I think I probably was my hardest critic because Hannah was just like, I don't even know if there are words that I can articulate with the warmth that this
mm,
woman exudes. I mean, her whole experience, and she, lost her son, and in this manner, and just the love and the acceptance, and that pours out of her was just like so diffusing,
mm.
and then on top of that, we're like the same height, like she's a shorty doo-wop, good like 4'11", scrappy, like you just present, just right there, So, I mean, that's the thing that I think I took away, was like putting away what my own concerns were about my performance of,
Mm.
her life, but like just kind of taking her in, taking her energy in, and like using that how many of her performances after that, trying to be like, okay, so like hold on to a little bit of that and see if that informs anything else, But
Yeah.
it was special, so special.
Hannah was the last person in kind of the main cast, the last, person story that we tell that came to see the show, and it was the preview right before opening on Broadway, and she sat
Wow.
in the front row with her family. Her family took up the front row, and her story is so incredibly heartbreaking, and heartbreaking for so many of us New Yorkers that kind of lived through that and lost so many loved ones, and we still had no idea what her reaction may be. And the lights went out, and she was the first one on her feet, kind of screaming to the stage.
Yeah.
I'll never ever ever forget it.
Oh yeah, she's fire. She is
Yeah.
fire. I love it. Okay, I think next question. Is it my turn?
Oh,
Okay.
I don't even know.
I know. I know. I lost track too. You do it.
All right, can you go back to
Yeah,
the
can we get it again?
All right. With the show constantly in motion, have there been any funny or scary mishaps?
Caesar. I don't know. I probably should have like read the question like you.
Am I
I,
going? You going?
I would say that, okay, because your story's gonna be better than mine. I feel like the thing that sticks out the most is the time having to go on for Delon,
Mm.
and you know because I hadn't rehearsed, the bus scene.
Wait, explain it a little bit so people know
Oh God.
what
Okay,
transpired.
so there's a part where Delon is playing like an African passenger, and I'm playing his wife. Now, because of this certain, we had a certain degree of people that had to call out that day. So it just so happened that there wasn't anybody to cover this particular moment in the scene, and it still be, not crazy. For lack of better ways of saying. I'm very sensitive about how I say that. And so I had to play both the husband and the wife in a sense. It became more of like a monologue type thing. But I had not rehearsed these lines. I did not know these lines. When I tell you I was sweating bullets, I feel like, yeah, even like playing it back in my head just feels like this wash, like actors, almost like actors' nightmare.
Yes.
I will say the saving grace was you all, it was almost like I didn't feel the pressure of like, oh goodness, what's she gonna do? She better not mess our show up. It was more like, oh, what's gonna happen? And like, but that's that. I mean, it was a very necessary energy for me because it could have gone either way, like with the nerves taking over. But yeah, that's like I would say more of a scary mishap. Not, it wasn't really funny to me in that moment, but
We've had so many crazy mishaps. I mean, I think what we were talking about before, this show just zooms by and you can't not think about what's about to happen. I remember I was in a bus scene and there were a couple of, the scene goes on and I'm just kind of like a passenger on the bus and my mind wandered for a second, just like, what am I having for dinner tonight? And all of a sudden I kind of come to and the whole entire stage is moving and everybody's moving with it with chairs. And I'm sitting in my chair and have no idea where to go. And I was like, and I felt like you said, our cast kind of picks each other up. I felt like 3 hands on me being like, this way, go this way, drop that off over there. And then someone just like shoved me off the stage because I had no idea where I was going. And we also have this crazy thing in our show about the turntable. Mm-hmm. And when that stops, it stopped at a handful of shows and you just see everybody's kind of like actor brain goes on and we're like, how do we get to the next scene? And you see a whole cast of 12 people pretending like they're walking around and moving around a turntable that's moving when it's not moving. It must look like we're crazy people and so foolish.
Well, I have to say, there was like one time that did happen when I was with you all, and I was like, I felt like, I hope I can say ass. I was gonna say, this group is badass because as soon as that turntable stopped, you could feel everybody kind of go, okay, it's not gonna move. So we just held positions and did everything just like flat. But the kind of collective thought to do that, I was like, come on now, don't sleep on that. This is awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, what's the next one?
Okay, Caesar, you've been with Come From Away since it began. How has it evolved, and what's it like working with different casts?
Ooh, my gosh, the journey with this show has been, one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Mm-hmm. The way this show has evolved, I feel like Come From Away is graced with kind of this magic where things only keep on getting better and better and better. And right when you get to a point where you're like, wow, it can't get better than this, something else happens that makes it even better. Every cast member that has come into our family has heightened the show, has made it better, has grounded it in even more reality. Our story has only grown with the companies that keep on getting involved with Come From Away. Mm-hmm. Nobody thought that this little show would have this much of a reach around the world at this point. Mm-hmm. And it is quite an honor to be a part of something that just keeps on growing in such an organic way.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I think that's a perfect word. The one, it is an organism. Like this show is definitely an organism, but it is like grounds for organic activity, which says a lot about the natural state and energy of the space. Not just like the work of it, but like off stage too. It's infectious. It's completely infectious, and I'm jealous of all of you for like, from the ground up, like just this experience that challenges you, and then also is just so contagious. It's an that's not a pun with this pandemic and everything, but to reclaim how contagion is and infectious, like this show does that, and I think in a beautiful way.
This also makes me think about how our creative team has gone out of its way to really make the casting of this show multicultural. And it's not really about having a certain type of human being in a role. It's about having a human being in a role. And I love that. I love to be a part of something that inclusive.
Yeah. Oh, God. It's like so bitter, like bittersweet, you know?
Yeah. I miss our show.
Like, yeah, I just do. I would just, I mean, with all the ups and downs of what these days and being like isolated like this, what it brings up is like what I can't help. Like there was a moment where I felt like I was just so blue and like in that hole that I just did not want to sing. And now it's getting to the point where like I need it back. Like I need to be on the stage. Like it's not necessarily about the ego, but it is about that exchange of, audience.
Humanity.
Yes, because I am so grateful for technology and that I can see your face and I can talk and I can hear your voice and feel like close to you, but it's just not the same, Singing like this is not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same.
So this whole conversation is just like, we're gonna get back there though.
We'll get back there, don't worry. Let's see. Kenita, what was it like for you to step into this show after Once on This Island? And do you see any similarities in themes?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. They're two completely different mechanisms. They're two completely different shows. But I think I feel spoiled. Honestly, they're both shows that like we keep bringing up this word humanity, and yeah, sorry. Ooh, that kind of snuck up on me. But like just how important that is, and it makes you feel like you're doing something other than just jumping around in costumes. And both, I mean, Once on This Island is a little bit more, fantastic, and it's kind of sprinkles of fantasy and folk tale, like that format, of a fable kind of. But and come from a way being rooted in reality, but still come to, like, I get to come on humanity through my art, and it's something that like challenges me to want to keep evolving as a human being. It makes me excited about it, but that I get to try to show reflections of that. And both of these shows are like, that's the message. Love from each other, care about each other. Take care. Let that be the instinct. Like let that be the thing. So yeah.
I'm so taken back that you got to play these two like incredibly strong women that suffer incredibly huge loss, and are able to share that kind of journey with us in the audience. I get taken back by these two characters that you played in Once on This Island and in Come From Away, and it's an honor to watch you doing that.
Oh, thank you. What's interesting that you bring it up and like that you articulate it that way. I mean, I feel like I carry grief real heavy, and I've always felt like, because I don't know, this may be a little woo-woo, but I feel like where we're supposed to be, that's where we end up getting gravitated to. It doesn't matter how much resistance you're going to be in that spot. You're going to either continue to resist it or you're going to learn from it. And I always was, kind of thinking, why is it that like there's a certain weight that I'm always being asked to carry, but it's also selfishly been a bit healing and made me, because I've always been like losing somebody, losing life, whether it has always been something that has terrified me. And and so I feel like being an artist and having to comment on it and look at it, and then also look, I have a real person who dealt with grief in this kind of amazing way, does make me feel like it can be a little bit healing, so I'm definitely trying to take that from it, Caesar.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah. Anyway,
yes, I know.
Like we want to be on Oprah's couch or something. Like, just want to go home and give us another question. Okay, I think this you go for it.
Okay.
Yes. Right. Okay, Grandma mine. Once Broadway reopens, do you think the show's message of coming together in a crisis will resonate in a new way?
Whew. I mean, yes. I mean, it's resonating now just talking about this show with you. You know, at its core, Come From Away is about showing human kindness, you know, showing that we are at our core, all we want to do is help each other out. And I can't, this time that we're in is so surreal. We're in a huge political divide where people are pitted up against each other for almost no reason. You know, it's kind of fabricated. And I feel like at our core, the message of this show that we want to help each other out, that's really it, you know. And I can't wait to kind of share this message again with the world. I think we're desperate for it right now.
Oh, Caesar, get ready. Get ready. It's gonna be nuts. You'll set foot back on that stage, especially because it is, and because of also like there is a lot of love around this show. People need it, you know, and so I'm just like, I don't know how y'all gonna get through it.
I know.
You know? That show's gonna be, that first one back that's gonna be 3 hours long.
I was on the phone with Joel Hatch, who plays our mayor, and he said, "Can you imagine what it's going to be like when we step out onto that show and to hear an audience and you know, it's very possible that it's going to be friends and family who are just going to erupt when we go on that stage." And he said, "All I want to do is turn to them and clap for them." Because that is why we're here, and I can't wait for that moment. I can't wait to be able to share this again.
It's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah.
It's gonna be magic. Yeah. So
Let's see.
Okay.
How have you been staying creative during the pandemic?
Woo. Okay. Well, I think the pandemic definitely made me take the time to do a lot more self-reflection, especially because of the anxiety of such a quick shift of just everything shutting down. I mean, I don't think I ever imagined that Broadway could ever shut down. No. You know, it just is like the show does always go on. And this being like kind of a global sitting down, you know, and I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do at this time? And I really, really have been trying hard. And some days it's easier than others, but to really reflect on where I am in the present moment. So if I need to cry, I do that. If I need to cuss, I do that. And also I've gotten back to writing, and actually not gotten back to, I've actually made myself sit down and work through some fears of writing. So I'm trying to challenge myself creatively, you know, because if I can't be on stage, I need to find, this is us, you know, it's a part of us. And yeah, so I've been doing a lot of writing, been trying to reach out to a lot of young folks, especially young creative folks, just to encourage them to use this time where their minds are kind of like, I'm doing classes virtually, and you know, I don't know what the future is going to hold for me as a performer. I'm like, this is a great time to use all those things, and what can you make out of it? You know, like what can you know, and also showing, you know, kind of trying to relay that it can be therapeutic for you as an artist. Like, don't be afraid of this moment. We're all working through it, no matter what age we are, what our profession is, but you have an outlet, you know? And so trying to, in a way, nurture my own heart and the weight that all of this is bringing, you know, trying to kind of release it. And I think sometimes trying to be transparent and also recognizing that they're the ones that are coming after us, you know. So a lot of this time has been like me trying to figure stuff out and stay creative. That's a mouthful to say that. You know?
No, I mean, I hear you like 1,000%.
Yeah.
I think like the thing I think about the most, and the thing that I struggled with, especially when all of this started, is really coming to terms that sitting within my piece is enough, because we are in such like a turbulent industry, you know, where we just go, and we don't have this we usually just don't have this kind of extended period of peace. And even though there's turbulence happening outside, like no one can take my peace away. And that's been a massive lesson for me during this, to really, like you said, just stay in the moment of where we are. And also realize that I'm not only what I do, I'm not only, this incredible, job of come from away. There's other things, other ways of being creative. I'm teaching online. I'm learning things that I've never learned before.
I hear that.
I'm directing. I've never directed before.
Yes.
And I mean, why not do it now? Why
Seriously, because otherwise it's too easy. I mean, the pace of this city anyways, even with it being slowed down like this, the energy of it can be very invasive. And just taking the time to slow down. But I love that nobody's gonna take your peace, I wish I could say it that directly, but there has been a lot of things, I think, because of the time to sit down, that you're not constantly running in this pace, so things just sit on you, will can have the ability to sit on you in a certain way. So I love that. I feel like I'm gonna make that like something to write, like a screenshot of it or something. Look at it, and I'm sitting in my peace. That's what I'm gonna do. And then when I want to stand up and fight for something, if that's, that I'll do that, But this has to be, for us to be able to give, we got to take care of this. So.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Oh, Caesar.
Kenita.
I just need a plate of food now.
I know. Oh. We have cooking wars, by the way. We have cooking wars, just so you know.
Look, Caesar can throw down. So I was like waiting to hear you also say that you've been like cooking up some things,
I do that too. Don't worry.
Oh, look. He could throw down. It's rude. It's rude. Yeah. Do you have any more questions for us? Okay. Go for it.
All right. Last question. With theater in a state of flux, what are your hopes for its future? Oh.
I think a lot of what we said, but also I think generally, I how to say this? My desire for us as human beings is to embrace acceptance of each other. I think if anything, it's hard for me to honestly think about it just theatrically, because what we do in theater is we're showing reflections of life. So, and reflections of each other. So I think that my ultimate hope is that we will embrace that not going back to something normal means that there's room for growth, and that it doesn't have to be like a negative thing that things aren't going back to normal. It can actually be exciting, and it can be us growing as human beings. Like you said, division, letting go of the fear of anything that makes us different, anything, whether that be race, gender, anything, just the letting go of those old ideals. And even stepping into the theater with this whole new energy, like being an audience member and an artist, like just different evolved human beings.
Yeah,
that's
I agree. It's just even just thinking about it, I miss theater so much. Like I miss it so much. And we are in a time of just like massive change happening in our country and around the world, and really beautiful change, but it's really hard work. And I feel like when our doors open again, it's going to be like a floodgate. I think people are ready to express a better version of humanity and of themselves, and we are desperate to tell those stories. I can't wait for this floodgate to open.
Oh, me too. And that we'll like embrace it and continue to live in it. Continue to, if there's anything to be resistant, it's like going back. That's the only thing, But yeah.
I think that's enough, Kenita. That's like amazing.
Oh,
Oh,
Caesar. I had to say I was like a little bit nervous because these things can be a little like, just a little takes a minute to get acclimated. But I love talking to you. I really
you
do.
too.
I miss your smiley eyes. Y'all
Mhm.
see this? Y'all see, look at those eyes, just beautiful. I miss like sitting next to you
Uh,
and then looking over with your mischievous self and
yeah.
just those beautiful eyes. The beautiful
No, I
eyes.
miss you. I miss you like crazy. Your soul is unbelievable, and I can't believe we got to do this together.
I know. I know. Well, don't be a stranger after this.
No, no. Thank you,
And
TDF, for
yeah, thank
this.
you, TDF, for this. This is like, I think I was excited and nervous about it, but this, like, the rest of my day, I feel so full. I feel
Yes,
full. I feel like this gave me like the sunshine that I needed
yes. I
today.
love you.
Yeah, I love
Mwah,
you
mwah,
too,
mwah.
Caesar. Mwah.